Normally I would be on screen, but I got some stuff I gotta do, so this is like a quote unquote radio edition, so to speak. I want to recap day number 16 of the Diddy case, and shout out to the lovely and intelligent Simone Redwine. So with that being said, let's get into it.
Are you still struggling with waterlogged meat and hot dog water chill drinks while camping?
Oh my
If
bad,
so, I
y'all.
want to show you a game changer.
Here
People,
she
I don't
is.
think nobody denies Cassie was abused. I don't know if this lady also worked for him. If that, I don't know if that's an element of forced labor or something. But I'm shaking my Astro Glide at that one. Not because it's good, because I got a question. Order in the court. Make sure to hit the subscribe and the like. Who has already testified today? Today it was the video expert, and that video expert has been on the stand. He authenticated the video of the video of the beat down in the hallway because the defense was alleging that it was edited in a way that makes it dishonest, edited in a way where it shouldn't be given credibility. He said, no, that's not the case. And he's also on the stand authenticating some freak off videos. Let me tell you about this. So I've heard two theories about them continuing to replay the video footage from the beatdown. Now, some are saying, oh, you want to keep playing it on the prosecution side so it sticks. Oh, thank you so much. I got a super chat. I really appreciate that. That they want to keep playing it so that it can stay in the mind of the jurors. I've also heard an alternative theory. I heard actually that the defense wants them to keep playing it because they want the jury to become desensitized to it. They want them to be like, oh, here they go again with the video. Here they go. I guess it's kind of like if you watch a lot of porn. You watch a lot of porn, and then when people just walk around with their little vaginas out, you're not excited about it as much. I don't really know. That's the analogy. But what do you think about that theory? I want to hear your thoughts in the chat. Do you think replaying the video a bunch could desensitize the jury and therefore take away the power of that video? In the same way, you know, if you watch porn too much, when you see a nice, good, real live vagina, you're not excited. Or do you think it'll work in favor of the prosecution where they'll just
Welcome, welcome,
continue to
welcome.
associate Diddy with these bad deeds? Let me know your thoughts. I'm gonna head off
Welcome,
and pass.
welcome.
I love you guys. It's your legal bestie attorney Simone. Share this on Facebook, guys. Share this with your friends, and please hit the subscribe button. Bye, y'all.
Okay, here we go. Some more Diddy stuff.
Afternoon break, our lunch break. So I just want to give you a quick update. Yes, I spoke to you guys I don't know, it was about an hour or so ago. On the stand is Cassie's homegirl, who's their alleged, drug mule, substance mule, or whatever. I'll be honest,
Hello, hello, welcome, welcome.
I'm kind of over her testimony.
This is about
I
the
don't really
Diddy
see how it's
case.
fitting into the bigger scheme of things yet. This is the girl that's Cassie's friend who Diddy allegedly hung over. Here's the thing. Somebody was like, you don't say allegedly. I don't have to. I literally don't have to. I'm clearly telling you what's being said at trial. So allegedly is cute. And it's very necessary if you're like on national TV or the news. But I'm just telling you what I'm observing. So to that end, I'm not saying that in any way, but to that end, hey y'all. So on the stand is Cassie's homegirl, Brianna. Brianna has testified under immunity. The minute that she was going for immunity, I was like, oh, this is going to be one of them druggy friends. She going to do all the drugs with her. Because I figured, the girl is like 4'11". I was like, she definitely not fighting nobody. She not wrestling. She's not no kidnapper. I knew she wasn't the kidnappee. So I was like, oh, must be one of the drug friends. Sure enough, that's why she wanted immunity. And her testimony is quite a bit about drugs that she took with Cassie and things like that. Now, this afternoon, she's supposed to get into the dangling over the balcony incident. But still, I just don't see how this testimony is going to prove up anything new in comparison to some of the things that other witnesses have talked about so far. Now, one of the things that was weird, bless her little heart, the prosecution asked her, have you met with us before? She said, yes. She said, in your first time meeting with the prosecution, what did you think that would be like? What was your understanding? She said, it'd be like a meet and greet. Girl, what? She said that it would be like a meet and greet. Ma'am, you must work in the media, because I'm so perplexed. Hold on. Yeah, there you go. I'm so perplexed. Somebody said, I think the CFO put another nail in the coffin for Diddy. I thought the CFO's testimony yesterday was significant. And the CFO, I talked about his testimony in this morning's live that I did earlier. So, hey. So she's on the stand now. Basically, she talks about doing drugs with Cassie, doing some with Diddy, that she did them separately, and she also testified to the fact that Diddy at times did have her go get substances for him, powder. That's what she wanted. But again, when I heard that testimony, I'm like, this is not testimony in support of substance distribution for RICO, because one, she's not a part of the enterprise. She's one of Cassie's homegirls that only did it periodically. And then she spoke about, like, Diddy would give her substances, they do them together, etc. So I'm still, hit that like, y'all. Oh my gosh, Jacqueline Johnson. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, oh good, now I can buy me some panties. I'm running all out of panties, y'all. I'm about to have to go to a laundromat, because where I stay, they don't have washer dryer. Anyway, thank you so much for that super chat. But then also, one of the things she testified to this morning, and this is Brianna on the stand, this is Cassie's homegirl that she would do drugs with, okay? They asked her, did you ever try to get clean? She said, yeah. She said, when you try to get clean, what did you do? She said, cooking.
This tank broke the internet. Here is why. This is Matthew. It may not look like it, but he wears a Shaper Love tank under all his clothes. So instead of sucking in his belly in public, the Shaper Love tank will do it for him.
You know how ingrained in the entertainment industry and or rich you have to be, where you just go on YouTube and you just look up recipes and you do cooking to try and get over your drugs. How about rehab, honey? How about rehab, okay? Now, fun fact or unfun, it actually takes, on average, 7 trips to rehab before you actually get clean. Yeah, I do think she might be a little bit slow. Right now, she's slow. Yes. So she said they would do cooking when they basically to give them something else to do with drugs. How about you like go out and about, go to the beach? Oh, speaking of the beach, she testified to one day being at Diddy's place in Malibu, and that Diddy looked at her and said, "I'm the devil, I could kill you." Like that. She didn't say it was like that. That was my interpretation. But hey, surprise witness. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Yes, it is exhausting, girl. You're killing it online, covering it every day, keeping everyone abreast. Y'all, she's an attorney too. So she did the whole law school things, and she gives her analysis based on the law as well, not just, fuzzy feelings. It says, she was in that area off of the Pacific Coastway. Right. So the current witness, we're waiting to hear. Now, after lunch is when they're supposed to get into the incident that she talks about with Diddy, where Diddy hangs her over the balcony. But what I'm trying to really understand is how this plays into anything other than the fear that Diddy instills in people. Because I think we've gotten some clear testimony that people are fearful of Diddy, that Diddy is powerful. But if the point of this testimony is to establish that, and perhaps, the level of substance abuse that Cassie endured and that she was dealing with, I feel like we're there already. Like, keep it moving. The jury is getting bored. And so am I. The jury is getting bored. And so if the jury's getting bored, you're losing them, keep it moving. Now, the prosecution has said that they anticipate finishing a week early. They are cutting that witness list down. They don't want to have as much repetition, because I think they are really understanding just how bored the jury is getting. It says, all this noise is very much, it says, can I answer your question? How did they get the Cassie tape if it was destroyed? I'm still waiting for that answer. I am shocked that has not been answered. Y'all, as soon as I find that out, I'm telling y'all, Inner City Press is probably telling y'all. But no, we're still trying to figure out how they got that darn tape. And here's the thing, there are two versions of the tape. There's cell phone video, and then there is also the actual security footage. Yeah, here we go. Law student says, law school's stressful and you must have tough skin for the field and for law school. Yeah, for sure. Can Mia sue the CCs, the people that docked her, the content creators? Absolutely.
Damn right.
She sure can.
Sue the fuck out of them.
It's not a crime due to the fact that she was an anonymous witness, an alias witness. It's just the fact, it's a crime just due to the fact that you can't dox people, period. The problem is, that would be an interesting case because I have a feeling that it's going to trace back to someone on the Diddy side of the camp who likely doxed that information.
Yep.
However, no, let me say this. That may not be the case. The thing of it is they put her social media on the screen, inclusive of hashtags. Honestly, if you click those hashtags, so I'm not saying it's necessarily someone from Diddy's camp. Anybody in the courtroom that wrote down those hashtags, and some of them were very unique, such that it would probably be the only photo that's there. And oddly enough, I don't know that she's taken down her whole social media. So that would be visible. If the government gave the tapes to CNN, what would happen? Nothing. But it would be, if the government did that, then that should be, they should be able to discuss that on the stand. Because the question could be, for what reason? Potentially they could be sanctioned, because what you're not allowed to do is try your case in the media, especially as a prosecutor. So in doing that, that could be considering, oh, thank you. And so in doing that, they would basically be tainting the jury pool. So that would be the problem, as I think about it now. The problem with, releasing that to CNN is, at that point, everybody who is a registered voter in the Southern District of New York area was a potential juror, and you would have potentially tainted the jury pool. This is why posting on social media is a gift and a curse, depending on who you want to use it. That's true. They had already done that. There is not going to be a mistrial. I can say the judge is doing everything in his power to prevent that, as is the prosecution, to the point where there was a discussion the other day about the mistrial when the fingerprint investigator was on the stand, and the defense was alleging that it was improper to imply that Diddy made the fingerprints disappear. The prosecutor themselves was like, Your Honor, we'll strike this, we'll strike that. Like, they were trying left and right to make clear that, like, hey, like, I get it, they want a mistrial. Mistrial's not necessary, and we will go so far as to say we don't even need this evidence in. We will strike those entire questions. How about a pardon? Is there still talk about that? Yeah, I have a whole video about the likelihood of a pardon. You can check that out. It's RICO a stretch. They're not fingering others. Hey, okay. I wish I could put this on the screen. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can. Is RICO a stretch? They're not fingering others. They don't have to. Here's the thing. Diddy is not just a defendant. He is specifically listed as sealed defendant 1. That's because there are other defendants who remain sealed. He has now been unsealed. That is because there are other defendants. But also think about it. In R. Kelly, the R. Kelly trial, he was the only one that was found guilty because he is the head of the enterprise. You cannot get to the head without getting the co-conspirators to speak or getting other witnesses to speak. And if you are actively pursuing all the co-conspirators at the same time, every one of them would be able to simply plead the fifth. And unless you're giving them immunity or the opportunity to be sealed, like immunity, then they're not going to be required to speak. So what they've done here is they unsealed the indictment against Diddy because they're charging Diddy. The other co-conspirators are still sealed. That is why Diddy is called Sealed Defendant 1. How fearful, thank you for the super chat, Federated States. How fearful was Mia when she filed a civil suit and won? she wasn't scared. No, no, no. Let me answer that. She wasn't scared that Diddy wouldn't come back and unalive her. Well, specifically, Diddy's staff told her to do that. That's why she testified she wasn't scared, because she had asked HR about her severance, and KK and them told her, you're going to need to get an attorney and get an employment lawyer to negotiate how much severance, how much overtime, that stuff that you're. So because she was instructed to do so by Diddy, that was why she wasn't fearful there. But also remember, she did not tell them at that point that she had been SA'd. And that, to me, leans towards her credibility on that issue. Because if there was ever a time to lie about being SA'd, it's when you're over there trying to negotiate for $10 million. So she never talked about it then, and then even to this day when she's addressed it again, she's never asked him for a dime. So since they had that settlement, not only did she never ask him for the dime, she legally cannot. Her settlement that she got in 2017 was a settlement that encompassed any and everything that happened related to her employment. So she never got a dime for the SA, and she never reported that SA. So to me, that actually supports, it's more likely, like she had no incentive to tell it. She couldn't get an extra dollar to tell that she had been SA'd, given the settlement she already agreed. Hit that subscribe, y'all. Hit that like. All right, I'll make it ready to go back
Like
to the
and
courtroom.
subscribe, y'all.
Just wanted to make sure that I answered that one. It says, let's unpin this. Of course, I'll be back after court. Anyone saying Diddy is innocent is just telling on themselves. Can someone block the Diddy? Oh, goodness. Hit that like button. All right, guys. I got to go. I'll be back in the courtroom. And thank you again for the super chat, guys. It's your girl, Legal Bestie, Attorney Simone with Is That Legal? Share this with your friends. Share it on Facebook and all the above. Oh, my gosh. Come on in. Come on in and let us know where you are viewing from. All right, okay, there we go. I'm sorry, I didn't set an alert, so if you didn't get one, you didn't miss one. I am just joining live right now. All right, there we go. But, all right, there we go. Silent. All right, I'm going to go over. Today is day 15. This is the Tuesday. Great, we got Washington, we've got Oakland in the house. And today's witness was Brianna. I started off talking about Brianna this morning. Brianna is Cassie's homegirl that Diddy allegedly dangled over the balcony. At this point, I don't think it's alleged. I really do think he dangled her. And I have to tell you, this afternoon was fairly calm. No one got arrested this afternoon. It did get a little saucy in the courtroom. There was a woman on one of the breaks, a woman named Emily was like, it feels like once Cassie got her settlement, that everyone else was like, I want to sue too. And I said, and what's wrong with that? And she was like, did I say was anything wrong with it? And I was like, oh. And I was like, really what I want to know is, as a non-lawyer, literally, how do y'all view that? So I'm going to pose that. I want you guys to comment on that below, which is literally, I keep hearing multiple people saying that, and that's the defense's theme, which I think is a very fair one. Their theme is, hey guys, defense is using this is a Me Too movement shakedown, that once Cassie got paid, now all these people are lining up to sue Diddy, and that you can't trust the testimony of any of the witnesses that are suing Diddy, because perhaps the testimony in this criminal case is so they can get more money in their civil case. I think that is a very logical argument. I think as defense,
yeah, possible argument.
It's a fair argument to make. I don't think it's true, but I think Emily was simply capturing both. It was like she picked up the defense's argument, but she was also asking that very legitimate question. It says so if he is innocent, then he has nothing to worry about. That's true. Yeah, I don't think anybody's like blaming anyone. I think that was a catchy theme, and I think that theme is working. So with that theme in mind, I'm going to give you a breakdown of what happened this afternoon, y'all. Overall, let me tell you this. Poor Brianna, she was terrible. Defense slaughtered her. Oh, they got her good. Now, it's Nicole Westmoreland on the cross. You know, they sitting her in there. She's an itty-bitty thing. Now, Nicole's like a cutesy little thing, right? But Nicole speaks with this confidence and this control and this, I know what I'm talking about. And she has this, and she's from the South. So she has like this little bit of a dialect where I wrote down, let me tell you something. With Nicole, oh, that was a good one. She has great tone, her voice. I said if she was my mama, I would always pick up my toys. That's how you feel. I don't know if she has kids or nothing, but if Nicole was your mom, you'd always pick up your toys. Your room would always be clean, that type. Like, you're not going to play with Nicole Westmoreland. It's not happening. It's not happening. Hold on, what that comment say, huh? Okay, no comment in the building. We got it. All right, so Nicole does the cross, and effectively, where the direct went is at the direct. That was the prosecution. So that continued after lunch. The highlights of that were she told the story of basically Diddy coming in. She's still to this day not clear on why Diddy was upset with her. But Diddy comes in and he grabs her. She ain't but 4'11", okay? And he dangles her off the balcony and she is terrified. That's what she said on direct. Now, they get the cross. Cross basically pulls out that one time she said she was dangled twice, another time it was once, that it was all unclear. Basically, they tried to establish that if she could lie once, she would lie again, and that she could not be trusted. Now, here's the thing with how the defense does that, and this is something that if you're not necessarily a lawyer, you may not pick up and understand. What was messed up is what the defense does is the defense gets notes from the prosecution after each of the times that the prosecution has interviewed a witness. They must type up a set of notes and provide it to the defense, giving them a summary of what the witness said. Here's the problem. It's not 100% accurate. It is not verbatim. There is no court reporter. The notes literally come from the attorneys or the investigators in the room, whichever one. And you may have seen this in the A$AP Rocky trial. So what happens is, a lot of times the defense lawyers are able to trip up the witnesses because what they'll say is, isn't it true that you told the government such and such and such on your first visit? Y'all, sometimes the notes will be wrong. They'll be straight up wrong. And I've only seen once in this whole case where the note was wrong and the witness said, no, I didn't say that, or no, that was inaccurate, because I think that the prosecution needs to explain when they prep the witnesses that, hey, if the government says, didn't you tell the government X, Y, or if the defense says, didn't you tell the government X, Y, or Z, and tries to say that what you're saying on the stand is a lie or is inconsistent with what you told us when we privately spoke, we're here to let you know all they have is notes. So feel free to look at that note, and if it's incorrect, you can say on the stand that wasn't correct. So like one time, the note said, I don't know, let me give you an example. Like the note said she likes drugs or something. And the truth was she said she does not like drugs. Like they left out the word not. Whatever it was, there we go, not. Whatever it was, that witness was able to be like, no, it's missing, it's incorrect. It should be not. Because I didn't say that I liked that. I said I did not like that. Whatever it is like that. Anyway, so my point is, they tripped her up multiple times. And the crux of what was pulled out was this.
With Apartments.com capturing the hearts of hundreds of millions of renters, everybody wants the secret to our success, but they're never going to get
was this. Y'all, Tyrone Blackburn. Tyrone. Tyrone Blackburn, if you're not familiar, hit that subscribe button as you're watching. Tyrone Blackburn is a civil attorney who is representing many of Diddy's victims. So after the Cassie case, one of the next big ones that sued Diddy, my earrings hurt, y'all. I got these from the beauty supply. They're probably turning my ears green as we speak. Apologies. And so Tyrone Blackburn represented Lil Rod, the first guy who filed suit against Diddy. Then he picked up the other. He also represented the other girl who said, "Mustard on that beat, ho!" Whoever that girl is, she's a little bit nutty. I forget her name, but she was the one who was. She said she met Diddy at a white party. That girl. She was represented by Tyrone, and then Tyrone dubbed her. Tyrone also represented Dahlia Graves. Dahlia Graves was a victim who claimed that Diddy and his security guard assaulted her. She represented him, and then she dropped him. Well, so did this girl, Brianna. Brianna had Tyrone, and and Tyrone dropped it. Let me tell you what they
Now,
did
that's bad when
to
Tyrone
try
Blackburn
and
drops
diminish
you.
Adriana English. Thank you. Must have on that beat. Oh, there we go. Adriana. That was one of the other victims. Now she's a little different. She's more on the J.
And truth of the matter is, Tyrone Blackburn ain't nothing more than the black version of Tony Busby.
Or right spectrum. She's a little different. Somebody said, I know I'm wrong and biased, but I hate that a black woman is doing his dirty work. Well, I hear ya. We talked about that before. Hit that like button, y'all, as you come in. So Tyrone Blackburn has represented a number of people, including he also represented the young lady who was suing Nicki Minaj, who was the victim of Nicki Minaj's husband, and then sued Nicki for, I don't know if it was, I think it was defamation and other things. He's represented her as well. Anyway, he's represented a whole lot of people, and nobody has gotten paid from what I've seen. I have yet to see, I don't like talking about other lawyers. I don't like talking about other lawyers in an ugly way, but I'm just saying factually, I did do a search, and I have not seen where any one of Tyrone Blackburn's clients in the last 2 years have received a dime out of settlement money. Take that information with what you want. But this girl basically got on the stand and she said, I used to have Tyrone. I didn't use him before. And what they did was they compared her testimony and what she said to the feds with respect to the dangling incident that was relevant, that was discussed here. They took that and they compared it to what Tyrone wrote in the demand, y'all. Baby, in the demand letter, pardon me, as well as what Tyrone wrote in the actual lawsuit. Tonight, I'm going to piece that together. I'll probably put that on my Instagram so you can see the differences. My Instagram is attorney Simone Redwine. Y'all, they told her butt up. They told her ass up with that one. And it wasn't fair to her. I'll say this, as just a human, non-lawyer, they did their job on the defense side. But when I say it wasn't fair to her as a witness, it wasn't fair because she could not control what her lawyer wrote in the petition, in the lawsuit. She didn't have any control over that. So one of the things, for example, is in the morning time, she testified that she was at, I think it was in the beach, or she was at a photo shoot, and that Diddy pulled her to the side or whatever, and Diddy said, I could kill you. I'm the devil. I could kill you. Well, they then said, well, didn't you tell the government that he told you that at a party? And then didn't you tell your lawyer he said that when he was dangling you over the balcony? So it was like, oh, this is 3 different versions. Y'all, the lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, put in the lawsuit that she said that Diddy said that while dangling her. So it made her look like a liar. And here's the thing. I can see how a lawyer getting her story could include that fact and put it at the wrong spot. Because the truth of the matter is this, right? Whether Diddy says the words or not, if he's in fact dangling you over a building, he is basically telling you, I could kill you, right? I mean, that's the whole part of dangling somebody, is to threaten them and making them think they could be unalived at any point. So what I found is the actual issue of where he said, I could kill you, don't matter. The fact, did he dangle you or not? Were you dangling or were you not dangling? If there was no dangling, then why was Diddy negotiating a settlement with you? Because that was one of the facts that came out. That Diddy and Diddy's team then began to negotiate a settlement with her, to mediate a settlement, so that she would not file suit against him for the little dangling situation. And that the dangling, they never resolved it. She did file suit. She never got anything from it, and there we went. But the way that the defense took otherwise insignificant discrepancies or facts and blew it into making it a full-out credibility issue today was a good legal strategy for the defense. Now, for those who, are like, I want him to be found guilty, if you lean towards that, no, it's not good, because they had a good afternoon. They had a good afternoon. I'm just going to tell you that that's just what it is. Anybody who said she did a good job you must have heard some stuff I didn't hear. Because even the gallery in the room that I was in, they were like, oh, girl. Because it then got to the point where when she was testifying, and this is Brianna, when Brianna was testifying, she would pause on really easy questions. And so what it seemed like what it seemed like when she was doing that, it was like she was trying to think of her answer from the perspective of, we all know if it's the truth, you don't have to think about it, right? So it made it seem like she was lying, like she was trying to think up a lie. In reality, as an attorney, I've seen people do this. I've been a witness before, and really what you're doing is you're kind of trying to think about, well, wait a minute, where are they going with this question? Because you're like, before I answer it, I want to have an idea of where they're going with, because I don't want them to walk me into it. Here we go. I don't know why I'm frozen. Sorry, guys. But yeah, why it was like she was trying to prevent from being, oh, we need some more likes, y'all. We only got 300 likes. We've got 1,500 in the chat. Hit that subscribe button as well, please. Okay. Please swipe my hair down in the back. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Got it. So I really feel like their strategy was good. I am looking forward to, they got like an hour, like 30 minutes to an hour more on the cross-examination, and then the government is going to try and rehabilitate her. Here's what I think we need to see on that rehabilitation. One, she's going to need to have the opportunity to clarify that, look, any discrepancies between my testimony and what was in the lawsuit that was filed on my behalf by my civil lawyer, I don't have any control over. Because what the defense tried to establish is that you let your lawyers lie and you never corrected it. Well, that's not true. That's why she got another lawyer. And it's my understanding her new lawyers filed what's called an amended petition, which is a correction. Y'all, here was the bombshell. The prosecution has not yet done their redirect. That's not going to be today. That'll be tomorrow. So that's when the prosecution will get the chance to help her rehabilitate herself.
Yep,
y'all,
here we go.
This was the bombshell.
Okay.
Y'all, please tell me why. So all day in her testimony on direct, she never, ever, ever alleged that Diddy S.A.'d her. Never. Y'all, do you know Tyrone Blackburn put that in the lawsuit that he filed?
Oh, hey.
Mr. Blackburn put that in the lawsuit. And on the stand, the defense was like, the defense was like, well, did you know? They were like, you alleged that Diddy S.A.'d you. And it was like, what? Everybody was like, what? When in reality, I was like, that wasn't fair. So that's why I say the defense did a slam up job, and I think they really made her look cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Speaking of Cocoa Puffs, y'all, when the defense asked her about what kind of drugs she did together, her and Cassie, she said one of them was a Cocoa Puff. She said, well, what's a Cocoa Puff? She said, it's a blunt laced with powder. You know, white girl. You know, that's what we call it, white girl over here. It is you open up a blunt, you sprinkle, white girl, you sprinkle the powder in there, and you roll it up and you smoke it. You smoke it. I have never known anything about that. But aside from the Cocoa Puffs, okay, which was the drug that allegedly she did with her. So Tyrone puts in the civil petition that he had, that Diddy S.A.'d her. Now here was the S.A. Y'all tell me if y'all think this is S.A. Child, it was that when Diddy picked her up. Now she's a little thing. I could put her in my pocket if I wanted to. She's 4'11". Okay, she's a little bit thin. She's 4'11". She's probably a size small, maybe a medium. Now she is a gay lady. This is relevant because the defense tried to imply that she was having a sexual relationship with Cassie. Okay, that she was having some sexual relations with Cassie, and that perhaps that's why Diddy was so aggravated with her. Maybe Diddy thought she was cheating. That they were rubbing their little buttercups together, which was like gross. Like if you look, okay, this is a little bitty, but she's like a manly gay lady. Okay, I saw her. We were both walking out the courthouse together. If you find the clip online, I almost fell. I caught myself, but I almost fell. It's a real good one. Somebody else got that. Go on to not shit on somebody. I'm sure they got a whole bunch of people saw me walking out because she was coming out right after me. Hold on, these are the busters. All right. So yeah, it was just rubbing buttercups. Oh wait, hold on, wait. I got my Astro Glide. Hold on. Wait. Security tried to take my Astro Glide. Shake your Astro Glide. Remember, on this channel, we shake our Astro Glide when there's a bombshell. So I needed to shake this Astro Glide when I told you about the defense strategy that they were rubbing buttercups together. Also, hit that like button. There's not enough likes. We need to get at least 500 likes. We're only at 4 something. And we got 1,700 in the chat. Shake that Astro Glide. we also have to shake the Astroglide. Can y'all hear it? Might not be able to hear it real good. But also we got to shake the Astroglide at the fact that the defense brought out the bombshell that she allowed her lawyer to claim SA. This is what the alleged SA was. Y'all tell me if this is SA to you. This is what Tyrone Blackburn wrote. That when he picked her up to dangle her off the balcony, he grabbed her by her breasts and he groped her breasts and he used that. And she's like, they said, they basically try to say, were you SA? No, that's not SA. That's not SA. First of all, this lady is shaped like a linebacker, like a little munchkin linebacker. She's 4'11". She dresses like a boy. She's a gay lady, but she's one of the gay ladies that dresses like a boy, not like a girl. She had on a suit today, like pants and everything. Okay? Pants. She definitely, if she's the one that got the strap on. That would be it. It might have been in her pants. I don't know. Are there any metal in there? Because she had to go through that. Somebody said body shaming. I'm not body shaming. I am describing her physique, and therefore, when you pick her up, I want you to think of, like, if you're grabbing someone angry, she's like broad shoulders, you grabbing her. She's little, so if you're gonna grab her, I could see how she could be grabbed here or here. Here or here, whatever it is. Thank you so much for this super chat. Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate it immensely. So that, yeah, somebody said, let it just, you can, it is. This is not body shaming. She is like, literally, she's shaped like a square. So you're gonna either grab her here at the shoulders, you can grab her here, or you can grab her here. I think Diddy probably grabbed her somewhere. She's a munchkin. And if you're doing this, like if you're dangling someone like this, I can see where you can end up grabbing some. Yeah, grabbing some business. The business can get in your hands. Some business can get in your hands. But this lady, you can tell she don't mess with men like that. She don't. But I don't think that was SA. And I think that was a huge stretch of her attorney to claim it. And you could tell while she was on the stand, she wasn't with it. You could also tell she did not read or probably receive, kind of like a SpongeBob. But she is attractive for a gay lady. I know other gay ladies will probably love it. Simone, those calling body shaming must be new hair and don't get my humor. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not. So what I'm saying is, with the SA allegation as well, this is not the channel for you if you're like a super serious person. I'm serious about my explanations of the law and so forth, but like as a human being, no, I'm a ridiculous person. I literally was voted class clown of Cornell Law School class that I graduated. Yes, that was a class favorite. I was like, oh, they called me for the nomination. I was like, oh. They're like, yeah, you've been nominated as a class favorite. I was like, what is it? Like, prettiest, most likely to succeed? And they were like, no, class clown. But I also think that, y'all, just like, that is the version of SA. Let me tell you, this woman, when she realized that was in there, her response was good. They said, so, did you realize he said in the allegation that he SA'd you? And she said, there were a lot of things he did that I disagreed with. That's why I got another lawyer. I said, get him, girl. Get him. There you go. You told her. But see, this is Nicole Westmoreland. Remember, Nicole Westmoreland talks to you like your mama, like a black mama who doesn't want to beat you, but will if you push her. You know what I'm talking about? Real professional. Like, she's the type to just look at you at church and you're going to correct your behavior. That's what it's like, okay? So Nicole wasn't letting up when she said, I said, so Nicole was like, so you knew this was inaccurate? And you didn't correct it, did you? The truth of the matter is you couldn't, right? She did, though. She corrected it by getting another lawyer. Someone said it could be battery. It could be. But at the end of the day, the point was her issue as the witness. She never was claiming SA. If there was ever a time to claim SA, she would have done that on her direct testimony with the prosecution, but she didn't. Instead, really, in part, that section made it seem like she couldn't be trusted because she would allow falsities about the facts pertaining to her to persist. When that wasn't true, because that's why she got a second lawyer. So, on redirect tomorrow, I hope that the prosecution gives her ample time to clarify and correct that when it came to that bombshell SA allegation, that was not something that she herself perpetrated. It was something that her attorney did. She disagreed with him. She got another one. And at no point on the stand did she ever try and perpetuate that lie. So I hope that captures it. Secondly, somebody said, did they pay these witnesses? Secondly, I remember I kept saying, y'all, I wasn't sure, I wasn't seeing what the point was of putting Brianna on the stand if she was just going to talk about Diddy whooping Cass's tail and being violent by dingle-dangling her. Because he's not being tried for the dingle-dangle, for the attempted, dangling her off the balcony. First of all, I do believe her. I do believe that happened. That absolutely sounds like something that Diddy would do. It is very Diddy-esque. But in that, I think overall, now that I listened to all the testimony, there was another significant section. Let me tell you what it is. That section went into the fact that after he dingle-dangled her off that balcony, she then basically was going to file a civil lawsuit against him, right? And she started that process. She let whoever his people were know. He then had one of their mutual friends, a guy named Rob, who Deontay, the prior witness, Deontay described as a whack music producer. Literally on the stand, Deontay said he was whack, not that talented, not that good. Rob calls her and basically tried to get her to settle on behalf of Diddy. Now, that made me think that perhaps the bigger goal of them putting her on the stand was putting up proof of tampering with the witness. Remember, tampering with the witness is one of the RICO crimes that they can prove up to get to the 2 RICO crimes. The second crime that it may help with bribery. So I don't know if perhaps they're saying, oh, this was bribery because he tried to use money to make this go away. Now that would be better. Context would make more sense than her just being another redundant witness sitting up there talking about Diddy is violent. Yeah, we know. But here's the challenge. If the goal was bribery, I don't think they got there. Here's why. The defense was hammering. Pow, pow, pow. The defense was hammering. They were able to object so consistently, so sufficiently, that I got to shake the Astroglide, y'all. This is the Astroglide.
What the hell she got Astroglide? That is some of the weirdest shit.
I don't know what these people are doing, but here.
That is some of the weirdest
I
shit.
thought those were pink pussy shirts. Remember, like, for women's rights? I don't know what it is. It looks like a little field trip. Oh, earlier was a group of children that were tied together like ducklings walking down the street. It was like 15 children. Anyway, okay, nobody cares. There's all kind of weird shit. Hey, how you doing? I'm online. It's funny to you.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for participating in my live stream yesterday.
You're welcome. Yes.
Thank you so much for not judging me and allowing me to be the same to you. And I can't wait
Thank you.
see you through this trial.
All righty. See you tomorrow. Have a good one. All right, guys. Okay, wait. Back to here. Shaking the Astro guy. So, the reason I stated the defense, I was talking about the defense, that I think that they were trying to establish bribery perhaps, but what happened is on the stand, the prosecution was trying to establish bribery. What the defense did is the moment that the witness started to say, Rob contacted me to try and get me to settle on behalf of Diddy, to get me to go away, the other side was like, object, and then they had a sidebar. Ultimately, with the sidebar, the judge allowed in no testimony whatsoever of what the settlement offer was, what it was for, or any of that. That was a huge win for the defense. Thank you again for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Yes, and that is yes. Afrosing says that's the modus operandi. Yes, I think they were trying to establish it was not a one-time thing when he got the videotape to go away as a result of the bribery for the hotel worker. That this is the mode of operation. He does something bad, he pays somebody off, he pays off a witness, he pays to get that evidence to go away.
Sound like he just throws money at a problem.
The chain and fail. Oh, That is a lot. There's a lot going on here. Y'all, there's so much. It's like a lot of drama that goes on. Yesterday, somebody got arrested. I got kicked out of the courtroom. Y'all hear that real quick? I got put out of the courtroom. So I was in the courtroom, and then there is this jackhole, okay? There's a dick. There's a human dick that works in the courtroom sometimes. He like, I mean, I've never seen anybody work so hard for $20 an hour. So he's one of the little security guards. And basically, I went out to, I don't know, bathroom break or whatever, and I came back in, and they were already testifying all this stuff was going on. So rather than, you know, moving past people with my bag, hitting people and being disruptive, I sat on the back row waiting for either a break or something like that, or like a lull, a sidebar, so that I can move and get back to my seat. So he's going to, literally I'm on the back row, no one's sitting there, in a folding chair at that, and he tells me, you have to sit back where you are seated. I said, okay, yes, sir. And again, I'm waiting for the opportunity to quietly do so, and he's like, now.
Who's
I
this
said,
dickhead?
I'm sorry, sir. I thought this was like church, where I could wait and quietly do it when something stopped. He said, this isn't church, this is court. I said, thank God. He said, you're being disruptive. Get out of here. I said, thank God. Amen. And I tossed my hair and I left. Listen, anybody who works that hard for $20 an hour, I'm just going to let you have it. I'm going to let you have it because that means he's probably got 10 kids and a dog back home in a Brooklyn 2-bedroom where he's just working his best to make sure it's okay for them. And it's not. It's not. I'm sure he doesn't do right by them. No, he's a pretty terrible person. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't live here. I don't have these issues. So as far as I was concerned, somebody said he makes $5 an hour being rude like that. Yeah, oh, he can go to hell. He can go to hell. But I don't care. So there's 2 courtrooms. There's 2 or 3 actually. But so I just went to the other courtroom because I don't care. You're not even allowed to chew gum in there. And I like to eat my little peanut M&Ms in my business. So anyway, I went back to the other courtroom, and that's where my friends were anyway. Like I said, like, make it make sense, and then we like talk shit about people as we are taking notes, and Shauna, and I like to talk to her, because sometimes I don't really know what's going on, because I haven't been taking my Adderall. I've got 2 of them in my bosom right now, actually. I had a whole day today where I didn't take any of my medications, so today I have been unmedicated.
Okay, you're doing a little bit too much.
You know that I've been prescribed a few things, all legal. I do have ADD. All right, the CEO of Universal Music Group attends and funds Diddy parties. Hold on, I was looking at those comments. Puff got the guards working. They are big mad. Yeah, I'm good. I am very unbothered. That is correct, but I'm a lawyer, Cornell no less, and you should be in the main courtroom. Thank you. Yeah, they are really ridiculous here. They, yeah, they're... I can't even describe how ridiculous.
Yeah, welcome to New York.
So now it all makes more sense.
You're always gonna run into a dickhead.
I'll work on it. Some days I do, some days I don't. If I have to take it before noon, otherwise it keeps me up all night. All right, it says, I feel some type of way hearing that I'm only a few blocks from the federal courthouse. Give me the word. Put that pressure on them. Thank you. All right, let me just make sure I haven't missed any other of the relevant facts. I had huge X's. There were a lot of misobjections, I felt like. And that they definitely tried to create the insinuation that Cassie and a girl were lesbian lovers.
This must be the most popular iSmartwatch on the market right now. With it,
Cassie and a girl were lesbian lovers. Now she was just up there laying up with that gay lady. And here's how they did it. They established that there was a photo shoot that the gay lady was trying to help her. What's the witness? Brianna. That she was trying to help Cassie by, they structured a photo shoot. At the photo shoot, she convinces Cassie to take a photo in just a t-shirt. And then after that, she testified to the government that it was on that day that she realized her and Cassie were very close friends. Thank you so much for that super chat, Tamara Allen. Thank you so much. So they said on that specific day where she got her to just pose in just a t-shirt in front of the pool, that it was on that day that she realized that her and Cassie were really good friends. They were really good friends. And after that, she started spending the night at Cassie's house. She'd sleep over and they'd have sleepovers. Her and the gay lady would have sleepovers. And mind you, this is like one of those for real gay ladies. You look at her and you'll be like, she don't like boys. She definitely likes girls, that type. And I felt like it took the prosecution a while to kind of figure out what they were getting at, and then they started to object. And then they tried, and then Nicole Westmoreland, the defense attorney, tried to kind of scoot away from it, but then she kind of tried to get back to it other times. At one point, she was like, "Now, when did y'all hook back up?" She kept using "hook back up." Yeah, she's a stud. Yeah, she's definitely steady. She's definitely study. Yes, yes. Yeah, no, my earring isn't missing. I took it off. I got it from the beauty. I just took the other one off on the live. I got it from the beauty supply, and I think it's turning my ear gray. So yeah, they use the hook back up creating the innuendo that they're gay lovers. Yeah. So anyway, Cassie and I don't like that gay lady. I don't know what her type would be, but that lady is too little for her. They would look crazy. Because Cassie is big up top, like here. Cassie about 5'10", and that gay lady is literally 4'11". But when she left that courtroom, y'all, she was bold. Go online or whatever, you'll see photos. They're gonna have a photo of her probably hand in hand with her girlfriend. Now her girlfriend was bigger than her. Her girlfriend is bigger than her. So I'm gonna try to update the thumbnail to a photo of the gay lady walking at the courthouse. There should also be a video floating around of me coming out the courthouse about to fall, and bust my face. I'm sure Deny or somebody will have it on their page. But, oh, yes. Oh, and then last but not least, here's the other. Okay, now remember, my opinion is that on cross, the defense did a very strong job of making this witness seem not credible and like a liar. That's my opinion. I love my other content creators out there. If they disagree, I say listen to all of us and y'all take your pick. Now, the other way that they really made her look type of crazy, remember I said previously, it was comparing Tyrone Blackburn, her prior lawyer's statements in that lawsuit, including the fact that he claimed that she was SA'd, and comparing that to what she's saying today on the stand. And there was this whole segment where basically the defense attorney was claiming that she and Cassie got together to create the facts that they're using to claim, oh, girl was dangled off the balcony. And more specifically, that she spoke to Cassie before Cassie even filed her lawsuit. Cassie told her, I'm going to file the lawsuit. Then when Cassie was successful, they reconvened. They got together. Even there was a discussion about how, like, one of them said that the dangling happened at a hotel. And then the other one said, no, let's say it was at your house. Because she used the word suggested. In other words, Nicole Westmoreland was like, didn't you suggest to Cassie that it happened at her house? Because her house had a balcony. And not such and such. But she was saying yes, the witness was saying yes, but which then made it seem like the suggestion was them colluding together to come up with a lie and then file a lawsuit and pursue it. But here's the thing. Before they even had those conversations, Cassie put those facts in her petition, and Cassie was pursuing that version of what happened. That was already part of Cassie's story and had been way prior to the gay lady testifying as she did today. Prior to the gay lady saying, he hung me over the balcony. How would she know their private conversation? How would she know their private conversation, though? Like, come on. So the answer is, I'm not sure how she knew, but I believe what she's comparing it to, the defense is comparing it to notes from the notes from the prosecution's prior interviews with her. So, for example, if in a prior interview, either with Cassie or with the gay lady, that maybe a prior interview, one of them said it happened at a hotel and another one was like, no, it happened at the house. Honestly, I could see how they may not have initially remembered which of the two it happened at, because she was frequently at hotels. They were frequently at her house. There was balconies at both, and there was a lot of drugs. They were doing them Cocoa Puffs and stuff, like I said. But in the end, the fact that that Nicole would say, well, didn't you suggest that you should say it happened here? And she said it should happen here. And didn't you guys talk about what date it was, whether it was this date or that date? So in the end, the defense was able to make it look like her and Cassie came together, colluded to make up this story. We know the lawyer may get it wrong. Yes,
This
the
a
lawyer
weak
can definitely
ass
get it wrong,
story,
and so
though.
can the notes
That
from the
story's
government.
weak as
Remember, the
shit.
notes from the government that they're using to then bring up on the screen to the witness, those are summaries. Those are not verbatim. Here's the other thing to show you just how unreliable the notes are from the government. If you notice, well, you guys aren't here, so you can't see it, but whenever the witness, whenever they say, didn't you tell the government such and such in a prior interview? And they're like, I don't remember that, or I don't think I said that. Immediately what they do is they then will show to the witness only. They say, Your Honor, I want to show only to the witness and to the parties this document. The document is supposed to refresh their memory as to what they told the government. And the document is the government's typed up notes. It is not verbatim. As a result, they're not allowed to put it in evidence. And they're not even allowed to show it to the jury. It's because that document is 100% hearsay. That's why they're not allowed to put it in evidence. And that's why they can't even show it to the jury. So it's hearsay. So in other words, these witnesses are getting tripped up sometimes by the fact that it says on the government's notes. Y'all, it would be like if you went to class and your homegirl went to class, the same class, your homegirl took notes, and someone is later asking you, well, isn't it true on that day your professor said such and such? And you're like, I don't remember. And they're like, well, let me show you Shelly's notes. Shelly's notes said the professor said that. Well, what's going to happen is one of two things. One of two things. It's going to be you're either like, well, I mean, that sounds about right. That's probably what he said. Or you could be like, no, Shelly's notes are incorrect on this particular point. Shelly got the majority of what it was, but on this, that wasn't correct. So that's what I'm saying. Hit that like button, y'all, and hit that subscribe as well. So in the end, the fact that the defense was able to imply that Cassie and her really got together and that Cassie suggested dates, or that she suggested dates and locations as to where the little dangling event occurred, implied that the event was a made-up lie. Yes, what I'm saying, Afra, is correct. It's ridiculous to challenge her based on a conversation that notes from the government was, because those aren't notes she created herself. Those are notes made by a third party. We made a copy, inserted. Okay, gotcha. So I think tomorrow the government's going to need to spend a reasonable amount of time, which could be 30 minutes. I say about 30 minutes. You can lose the jury after that. Trying to redeem this witness as best as they can. I think she was tired, she was nervous, and she was really trying to focus on where the prosecution was going with their line of questioning prior to answering, and I think overall it made her seem not credible. I believe she was dingle-dangled, but I also believe they're getting into the weeds in that what the defense was able to do is take insignificant, irrelevant aspects, use those to make it seem like she was a lie, when in the end, this testimony is for the government to try and prove elements of bribery or modus operandi, mode of operation, and that Diddy used producer Rob to then try and intimidate her, tamper with her as a witness, and make her either change her story or not pursue legal claims against him, and that is in part how the operation works. And in order to do that, it doesn't matter where the dangling happened, because in the end, Diddy was negotiating money with her. If that never happened, Diddy wouldn't be trying to negotiate ish. What it is, though, here's how Diddy works. The value to Diddy is your silence. So once you file a public lawsuit against him, that's when Diddy is going to act like it never happened and fight to the damn death. That's why you have to get a lawyer. When you're going against somebody like a Diddy, you have to get a lawyer who understands the value of privacy, secrecy, and his brand. Because if you get a lawyer that's too lawsuit happy and just wants to run straight to the courthouse, Diddy's not going to negotiate with you on nothing. You're not going to get no money out of him. Instead, he's going to take every dime that he could have given you and would have given you. Hey, thank you so much. Welcome to the jury, Nene. Thanks for joining the membership. Diddy would take every dime that he could have given you and would have given you, and instead, he going to give it to his lawyers and say, break that girl down. Beat her down. And it's not right, but that's how he operates. That's how a lot of rich people operate, because they would rather spend that money. Yes, somebody said, come on. They would rather spend that money defending their brand than once the allegations have been made public, because the only way at that point to protect your brand is to fight to the tooth in the lawsuit to either get it dismissed on a technicality or flat out. So I hope that makes sense for you. I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. Drop your questions below. It's time for me to hit a happy hour, and then I've got my coaching program below. Let me know. Do you think old girl was lying? You think she's lying? You think she really got dangled off that balance, or you think she's making stuff up? We want to know. We'll see y'all tomorrow, live from the Diddy trial here in New York. I'm going to go get me a beverage because I earned it. Love y'all. It's your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. Follow me on Instagram at Attorney Simone Redwine. Bye.
And with that being said, if you enjoy the content, like, share, subscribe. I would say good night, but since it is 2 in the morning, good morning. See y'all later.